Hey giraffes, it's Ms.Ann here. I am flying solo, no behind the scenes video person for me today. So I hope you guys are doing well and hopefully y'all will be able to see this. I can see me, so hopefully this is good. I wanted to kind of talk to you guys today about when I say that I live in a zoo. Obviously Ms.Ann doesn't live in a real zoo, but sometimes I feel like I live in a zoo. I have a lot of animals here, which you guys have met, I believe, all of them except for the hermit crabs. And each one takes a lot of care. I have to make sure that I change cat litter, their cages, the water. There's a lot that goes into it. So I sometimes feel like a zookeeper. So that's our joke is that I live in a zoo. Obviously, I don't really. But Tori Bell, y'all saw the video of how much food I have to cut for her and feed her and make sure when there's a storm I have to bring her inside out of her hole. Shelly, I have to clean her water, feed her. Boss and Luna, my dogs, they require to be fed every day and walks, and I gave him a bath yesterday, which was interesting. Titan, our little cat that you met, he has a cat litter. I have to change that, feed him every day. And the hermit crabs, I have 4 that you will meet in a little bit. So that's 9 animals, friends. I have a busy job besides being a mommy and a teacher. I also feel like a zookeeper. But anyway, so I thought I should clarify, I don't really live in a zoo. Sometimes I feel like it though. All right, my friends, today we are going to read an Eric Carle book about hermit crabs. It says A House for Hermit Crab. Now, I ordered this book off Amazon, and it's kind of a funny joke in our house that I'm not allowed to order anything off Amazon without help, because everything I order seems to be as big as a hermit crab. So anyway, this book is really tiny. I hope you guys can see it, but I'm going to read it anyway. I'm going to get the glasses out. All right, let's start. Eric Carle, A House for Hermit Crab. There's a pretty front page. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside it to see how it felt. Felt just right. But it looked so, well, so plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It's so plain. It needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. He's making it pretty. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the seafloor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They gazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house?" "I would," offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. It's looking fancy. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "I would," answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. "It's so dark here," thought Hermit Crab. "How dim it is," murmured the sea anemone. "How gloomy it is," whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't see," said the snail. "It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered Hermit Crab. Yay! But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They have been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They are like a family. How can I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I have outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I have outgrown my house too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that little shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big, empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. Yay. The end, friends. This is kind of a glossary like we've talked about before, that if we needed to know about some of the bigger words in there. So hermit crabs, they do outgrow their shells and they have to have new shells in their space. Obviously, here's the ocean floor. In my hermit crab's tank that you guys are going to see on the next video, I have put new shells in there for when they outgrow their shells. My shells, if you notice on some of them, are going to be painted. I did not do that. We bought them that way. We bought them in Galveston. Keely and her friends went to Galveston and bought hermit crabs, and of course Ms.Ann is now taking care of those hermit crabs. So they'll have painted things on their shells. Anyway, in the ocean, obviously, they're not going to be painted like that. But I just wanted to read this book about hermit crabs, kind of talk to you guys a little bit about them before we meet mine. And I didn't know how to do the two videos together, so you'll be getting one of the Eric Carle book and then one of the hermit crabs. Okay? I hope you guys are doing well. I miss you tons and tons and tons, and I love you very much. Mwah.